I'm Gerald McPhail. You're a pastorpreneur. I'll tell you what, it's amazing today because you are looking at Entrepreneurs of Faith Spotlight Show. And I got my man here today that we're going to spotlight. Jay, what's up, Jay?
Glad to be here.
Good.
Glad to be here.
Why don't you introduce yourself and tell our audience a little bit about you?
Okay. I'm Jay Henderson. I host the Flexxx Zone podcast. I'm from Tallulah, Louisiana, a little small town. Just moved out here to Georgia a year ago and ended up meeting Gerald, and the rest of it is history.
Well, look, now I do want to find out a little bit more about like your background and what shaped you to begin doing the kinds of things you're doing now.
Yeah.
What's the background to that?
Oh man, podcasting wasn't my idea. It actually started off as a different project that me and my partner started in Maryland. And he was moving kind of slow on the project, and I started vlogging and creating a few videos that picked up a little traction, and it turned into Flexxx Zone.
Well, you know what though, the interesting thing, like a lot of these things are happening now, but I'm wondering like, what is it about your childhood? Did you always want to be in front of the camera or, cut up or something like that? I mean, tell me a little bit now. Come on about the little Jay. That's what I'm trying to go to.
Okay, well, growing up in my little town, Tallulah, Louisiana, my dad was a pastor.
Okay.
So we got a chance to be in front of the camera quite a bit.
Okay.
We got a chance to be in the forefront and pick up a whole lot of attention. But as far as being in front of the camera and being in the spotlight, I kind of had it misconstrued at first. Okay. Because I always wanted the spotlight without the understanding of what all comes with the spotlight, So now I just want to do what I'm doing, as far as podcasting and getting the message out to the world and keep enjoying this.
Well, the interesting thing to me is that a lot of people who have church background, it's amazing how the things that you do in church at an early age begin to shape you and prepare you for the things. That sometimes, like when you were a kid and stuff, and you at church with your dad, you didn't know one day you'd be hosting this big podcast show or whatever. No. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say. So look, now, as you were coming up, was there somebody that, you admired or that kind of inspired you to just be your best self?
Yes, that would have to be my dad, the late, great Pastor Oliver D. Robinson Jr. He was a great man, a hardworking man, taught me everything, gave me everything that I needed as far as how to provide, how to care for my family, how to not just be there financially, but emotionally, spiritually, physically, the hugs, the I love you, and don't miss work. Don't miss work. Yeah, but my dad. Okay,
fantastic. Now, so you said that you're from the small town called what?
Tallulah, Louisiana.
What is that near?
It's near Monroe.
What is that near?
Shreveport.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I don't know my geography that well. Yeah. But okay, I think I understand a little bit better.
Yeah, Shreveport, yeah.
So now, going up there, then I'm sure you matriculated and did quite a few things, but what brought you to the big city?
We ended up moving from Maryland to Georgia when we lost our place. We had a storm one day. I was at work. Tasha called me in a panic. She don't normally get in a panic, but she called me in a panic, and she told me that the roof had caved in. And I rushed home, left work, rushed home. By the time I got home, the top floor and the second floor had just completely gave out from the storm.
From what kind of storm?
It was a pretty bad storm. Wind, everything, just blew it off. And we was in a hotel probably like a month while we was trying to make a decision on which direction we would go in as far as Arkansas or Georgia. And Georgia had what we needed, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Looking for a place in Metro Atlanta to celebrate, create, and even operate your small business? Well, that place is McPhail Studios in Peachtree Corners. So, you came to Georgia.
Yes.
Now, I think you said a little bit before that you had thought about a touch base with a partner about podcasts. Did you come to Georgia knowing that podcasting was going to be the thing that you were going to do to try to, make the difference that you want to make?
It was in the plan. I had been to Atlanta quite a few times in the past. Just having people here and knowing how the people here in Georgia support differently. They are all for you. As soon as I got here, I started meeting people that started pushing me, connecting me with this person, put me with this person. Before you know it, Atlanta was on the streaming list and my analytics, and it was just like, from there, it was just like, I'm here. I'm in the right place.
Wow.
This is the right place.
I tell you what, now, there's probably a lot of our audience who are interested because they may be thinking about podcasting, that kind of thing. Tell me a little bit more about your show and like why you're doing it, or maybe even what is it that you're trying to accomplish, a little bit about the show.
My show is Flexxx Zone podcast. Flexxx Zone actually streamed in 30 countries outside of the United States. We started off just with a camera in the office, a little camera, and a ring light. And now we have a full studio where we interview guests. And our mission is to provide education, information, and resources to our people, to different cultures and all walks of life, and all the other countries that we stream in and different languages that we stream in. Just to provide education, information, and resources. Give people something that they don't have access to, that they would have a need for our show to give them that.
Now, you're saying in other countries?
Yes.
In other languages? Somebody translate it for you? Or is it English and these different things? Or you actually translate to a different language?
No, once you hit certain platforms, the transcript automatically translate into a different language. And you have at least, I know, two or three countries that translate that language into their language so that they can watch the show. And they watch frequently. We've grown in two parts of Russia, China.
You in Russia?
Yeah. Yes.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So what you say, Russia, China?
Russia, China, Finland, London, France, Africa, like many parts of Africa.
Okay.
Shout out to Africa. I appreciate, the Philippines, they stream really heavy. The United States and the Philippines are my top two countries that stream real heavy.
Fantastic. That is fantastic. Now, with you doing this and you providing the information, and so what do you think from your podcast is going to be the difference maker?
I think people get a chance to see different cultures, and they get a chance to learn about different foods. We had Danielle Kettlewell as one person that I always mention. Danielle was in the Olympics, and she came on and she told her story. It's still the top streaming show. She was in the Olympics and she told her story about how she didn't think she would. She even wrote a book, The Unlikely Olympian, and giving people insight on different cultures, different background, different foods, different ways of life, in other countries, and struggles that people go through, So that's pretty much what I enjoy doing, giving people that insight. Okay.
I think in knowing just a little bit, you've done shows to focus on health.
Yes. Yes, we had recently shot Lee Stroy, who has partnered with the American Heart Association, Dr. Orlandis Wells. Dr. Orlandis Wells has been on the show twice, and this last time we talked about men's health. He gave a lot of helpful information that men could use, men and women, because he's typically an OBGYN, but he also gives that insight to men as well on how to stay healthy, what to eat, and other things that we go through aging in life.
You want to make a difference with the idea, gifts, skills, and talents you have been given by God. But your entrepreneurial journey has been challenging and often frustrating. We invite you to be a part of the Entrepreneurs of Faith community at McPhail Studios. Contact us today and discuss how you can be supported to make the difference you were made to make. EntrepreneursOfFaith.com.
Now, as a content creator, as an entrepreneur of faith,
yes,
the interesting thing that I find that I'd like to get some insight, there are a lot of other entrepreneurs of faith who desire to make a difference in some form or fashion. How do you how would you say your faith has shaped you in what it is that you're doing?
I think that when it comes to us as people, I think that fear, in a sense, paralyzes us to the point to where it stops us sometimes from moving forward. And anytime there's no movement, there's no progress. So when it comes to faith and being an entrepreneur of faith, it's so much that I've learned from y'all. Just being a part of the Masterminds class and listening to y'all every Thursday, so much that I've learned from y'all. So many doors have opened just from making the move. You have to make the move first. You can't be still and expect progress. Somebody told me, if you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you always got.
How about that?
Yeah.
Now, I you know that I have pastored a local church.
Yeah.
I'm a pastorpreneur at this point, and I just can't help but to ask you, how is it being a PK?
Well, we get judged at a high standard, okay. And I'm sure your kids would probably say that we could do the same thing that another kid would do, but when you are a pastor's kid, you get judged at a high standard, you get held to a higher regard, and you have to be careful because what you do as a kid, and you get comfortable doing it as a kid, it kind of grows with you. So if you get comfortable with not respecting the fact that your father is a pastor, then you kind of put a stain on his legacy, So I understood that, and even though I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, I always held my dad to that regard, to where how I move in life, it also reflects to him and my mom.
Okay, so now in your podcast, in your show today, where there's a lot of people who will do things, say things, go places just to get attention. And sometimes it can maybe be offensive or be vulgar, or I don't know. Do you have standards that you have for your show that you try to make sure you stay within certain parameters or something?
Yes, I do. When I first started the show, believe it or not, I jumped out like the typical podcaster. I researched and I did what I thought was trending. So it would be profanity, it would be topics that I didn't feel comfortable doing, but I felt like, okay, this would get me a little attention. And it did. But at the same time, you have to make sure that what you're doing is where you're going. So I'd remove the profanity. And every now and again, you might see a guest that comes on and use a little, but it's not to the point to where we have to be. I myself, I had a talk with my mom, had a talk with my manager, and it was just like, I didn't want to do it. I want to be different, and I want to live what I tell people, So I kind of took that out. That's one of the standards that we set and stick to it.
The interesting thing for me in wanting to spotlight entrepreneurs of faith is for you to be a witness and let people know that nobody's perfect and that kind of thing. But at the same time, we can begin to live more boldly.
Yes.
In every day in the marketplace,
yes.
Out of who we are, yes. Whose we are, if you will. I want to know, as I'm thinking, and I'm sure our audience would know, what do you have planned for the future? What do you see? Where do you see your show going? Or do you plan to pivot into other things? Or what's the future look like?
Right now, I'm working on my own network where I would generally take a group of younger podcasters and teach them the ropes, how to monetize, how to, because a lot of people get the wrong idea about podcasting. They want the countries, they want to be monetized, but it's so much more that comes with it. So doing the research and the work that I need to do every day to learn and launch a full network and become a syndicated show. That's like, wow. Yeah, that's like my main goal.
Okay. Now look, I've enjoyed chatting with you here. I want to ask, if somebody is listening, watching, and they say, man, this guy is interesting, I want to get in contact with him, or what is the best way to get in contact?
You can email us at flexmanagement@proton.me. You can find me on Facebook and IG, which are two of my main platforms. IG is Slice69 _ and Facebook is Jay Henderson, my name. You may see a bunch of pages pop up, but you'll know the real one. But flexmanagement@proton.me is where the managers manage the email and contact our guests back.
Now, we're sitting here and you've given a little snippet of who you are, your background, and that kind of thing. I also wanted to give you an opportunity, like maybe there's a message, something you want to say, whether it's specific to some other potential podcasters or entrepreneurs in faith. What kind of advice, what kind of message would you have for them?
So first I would say to anybody that wants to be a podcaster, you have to be focused. You have to be laser focused. It's no waking up one day and I don't feel like doing this. And you have to be laser focused. You have to invest in yourself. We started off with just a cell phone and a ring light, and now we have a whole studio full of equipment, lights and cameras. So you have to first invest in yourself and research those grants. Research grants because there are grants for podcasters. So research those grants, research the information that you need to move forward and be as successful as you need to be. As far as the entrepreneur of faith, this is a whole nother ball game. It's like a genre. So when it comes to this particular group, I take pride in who I am and being a part of the masterminds, the entrepreneur of the faith. Look for Gerald McPhail on IG or just Google him. You can't Google everybody, but Google him and reach out, and it will be this is like a Christmas gift to you. This will be just like the thing that opens that door for you as a person, as an individual. It's a confidence booster. It gives you that mindset to adapt faith in your life, the faith that you need to move forward, to unlock doors and become the person that you want to be in life.
Well, Jay, I guess I can pay you now. Nah.
Yeah.
I appreciate that shout out, and appreciate you being a part of the vision that we have, and actually coming on and letting people know how God has worked in and through your journey.
Yes, sir.
And the fact that you don't have to have fear.
Yeah.
and actually step out and do the kinds of things. We of course support you and wish the very best. Wow, I'm thinking about those goals, man. That syndication show, and it's like, come on, bring it on, right? We can make a difference.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, guys, for watching Entrepreneurs of Faith Spotlight. This is absolutely a wonderful thing, and just stay tuned for more episodes.